Hello, and welcome to Jamila Stamping Grounds. I'm Jamila Ivets, and today I would like to share with you some tips for making a penny slider card or a twirly card. You can see here how it's moving and twirling. All right, so I have another little piece cut out here that I'm going to use in my demonstration and with creating some of these tips. And the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a very good slot that's even and straight and has a rounded ends so that the twirly card or the penny slider will move easily. So I'm going to use my grid paper here to sort of help me, and I've got 1 inch and 2 inches marked off, and you want it to be that the swirly part that's turning doesn't go past the edges of your cardstock and is down far enough in. So about 1.5 inches works down, and I would like it to be excuse me, approximately 3/4 inch in. So I'll put a slot there and a slot there and draw a line. Now this would be, as you can see here, I've written, this would be the back of the paper, that piece of cardstock I've decorated here. Then I would take my word window punch, which gives me a perfectly punched end, round end, and a straight slot. So what I would do is put it in here so that, I just have to tilt it up a bit to see so I'm straight, is that I would have it like that where it's right at the end where I put my mark and it goes straight across with the line in the middle. Then when you go to line it up again, you leave it, I'm just going to look at it this way, and you would have about 1/2 or 2/3 of it be cardstock and 1/3 or 1/2 showing where it was previously punched to keep that slot even. And then you would go in again and go right up against the last markings and punch it out. All right, now if for some reason it is a little bit bumpy along the slot side, just go in and ever so slightly take off that little piece that may be sticking out, because you don't want those little bumps in the tract or the slot so that your penny will slide easily. Okay, so there I have my slot created. All right, that's your tip number 1, is how to create the slot, and tip number 2 is to make sure the edges of the slot are as straight as possible, and how to measure it. The next thing you would want to do is you need to have a round dimensional. You've got the rounded ends, and if you have a round dimensional, fine, but if you don't, you need to take whatever dimensional you have and cut it so that the points or edges of the square or hexagonal dimensional are cut off and you have a round dimensional. Even if it's a little bit smaller, doesn't matter, it just needs to be round. So I'm going to take my penny and I'm going to take off the paper off the dimensional and put it on my penny. And now I would take my slot, this is my back and this would be my front, and I would put my dimensional through it, peel off the paper, and then put the top penny on. And as you can see, that rolls very nicely. And so we now have a straight slot, we have the round dimensional for ease of movement, and the last thing I want to show you is that when on the back again, you go to place your dimensionals, you would have dimensionals here, 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 and here. You also want to make sure that you have some dimensionals here on either side of the slot and at the end to hold the slot up so that the penny is not encumbered by the dimensionals, but that the cardstock is lifted up the height of the dimensionals, which will allow the slot to easily move, the pennies in the slot to easily move. Okay, so just to summarize, again today I was showing you some tips on how to make the penny slider or twirly card much easier. You need to have a very straight edged slot. I showed you how to measure it on the back. And you want to lift up the dimensionals around the slot so that it will have easy movement, as well as a round dimensional, the size of the slot, for easy movement. Thank you for joining me today at Jamila's Stamping Grounds, and if there's anything you've seen in this video that you would like to purchase, please see my website in the comment section.